Hello, I am Ravi Vishweshwaraya Sharada Prasad. I had recorded a previous video on YouTube about how my maternal uncle had made Morarji Desai the Prime Minister in March 1977, outwitting Jagjeevan Ram and Charan Singh, who had more MPs supporting them. Since the audio quality was very poor, we are recording this video interview all over again. On 18 January 1977, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi sprang a surprise by declaring elections to the Lok Sabha. Her son, Sanjay Gandhi, was kept in the dark, and he had an angry showdown with her after he came to know about the elections from her radio broadcast on All India Radio. So, elections to the Lok Sabha were held from 16th March to 20th March 1977. The hastily cobbled together Janata Party obtained 298 seats, and together with its allies, it won 345 seats. The ruling Congress Party and its allies obtained only 189 seats. One of the last acts of the defeated Indira Gandhi government, as it submitted its resignation to the acting president, B.D. Jatti, was to end the emergency. Now, Home Minister K. Brahmananda Reddy, he went over to Rashtrapati Bhavan with the cabinet resolution ending the emergency, and the acting president, B.D. Jatti, detained Brahmananda Reddy as a hostage in Rashtrapati Bhavan until the notification ending the emergency was printed in the Government Gazette, and that happened at 4 a.m. B.D. Jatti wanted to ensure that Sanjay Gandhi did not try any last-minute tricks, and so the acting president held the outgoing Home Minister as a hostage. The rifts and contradictions in the very hastily cobbled together Janata coalition became apparent even before it took office. The defeated Indira Gandhi dubbed the Janata coalition as a khichdi. And Morarji Desai, Babu Jagjeevan Ram, Chaudhary Charan Singh, and Chandrasekhar, all of them claimed that they ought to become the Prime Minister. So, my maternal uncle, K.S. Radhakrishna, he was head of the Gandhi Peace Foundation, and he was the closest aide and advisor of JP, Loknayak Jayaprakash Narayan, for several decades. So, K.S. Radhakrishna, together with his fellow Sarvodaya associates of Mahatma Gandhi ji, Narayan Bhai Desai, Siddharaj Dada, and Govindrao Deshpande, they single-handedly, together made Morarji Desai the Prime Minister, even though Jagjeevan Ram and Charan Singh had far greater numbers of MPs supporting them. Even though the erstwhile Bharatiya Janasangh faction had obtained 102 MPs out of the 345 in the Janata coalition, the Bharatiya Janasangh had merged itself into the Janata Party before the elections. So this erstwhile Janasangh faction did not stake a claim for the prime ministership, and they preferred a low-key wait and watch strategy. And even though his CFD, the Congress for Democracy, had won only 28 seats, Babu Jagjeevan Ram got the 102 MPs belonging to the erstwhile Bharatiya Janasangh, and Jagjeevan Ram also got 35 MPs from the Socialist Bloc to support his own claim. And of course, Babu Jagjeevan Ram had the total support of all the Harijans and Dalits across the nation. And Jagjeevan Ram very shrewdly managed to persuade Chandrasekhar to drop his own claim and support him, Jagjeevan Ram, instead. And Jagjeevan Ram also got the support of George Fernandez and N.G. Gore. And of course, Jagjeevan Ram had the support of the stalwarts of his own CFT, the Congress for Democracy, Hemati Nandan Bahuguna and Nandini Satpathy. In fact, the CFT had been nicknamed the Congress for Defectors when Jagjeevan Ram and H.N. Bahuguna and Nandini Satpathy defected in the first week of February 1977, totally taking Indira Gandhi by total surprise. She just did not foresee this at all. Chaudhry Charan Singh rallied his support base among the farmers and the Jats, and it became clear that Charan Singh commanded the support of the second largest chunk of the newly elected MPs of the Janata coalition after Jagjeevan Ram. So, my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna of the Gandhi Peace Foundation and his three fellow Sarvodaya Gandhians, they were of the opinion that either Jagjeevan Ram or Charan Singh as Prime Minister would be totally disastrous to the nation. The massive corruption of Jagjeevan Ram was well known, and there were numerous questions over Charan Singh. And Charan Singh and Jagjeevan Ram had absolutely detested each other for decades, and if either was made the Prime Minister, the other would immediately try to pull him down. So my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna, and he was the closest advisor of JP, the Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan, and his fellow Sarvodaya Gandhians determined that the best person to be Prime Minister was Morarji Desai. And Morarji Desai not only was a very highly experienced politician and an outstanding administrator, he was one of the most capable ministers in terms of competence in post-independence India. And Morarji Desai not only was competent, but he also actually had the strongest moral claim, because it was Morarji's fast unto death which led to the fall of the Chimanbai Patel government in Gujarat in February 1974 and really started the process which forced Indira Gandhi to declare the emergency. Morarji Desai and his fast unto death was just hours away from death, and Indira Gandhi just had to concede defeat to Morarji Desai. She was forced to suspend the Gujarat Assembly, and she dismissed Chimanbai Patel as the Chief Minister of Gujarat. And also, Morarji Desai had been in solitary confinement. It was in a guest house, not in a prison, but still he was in solitary confinement in a guest house, not allowed to meet visitors, from the very first hour of the emergency till the day elections were declared. And Morarji Desai firmly resisted all efforts from Indira Gandhi for a rapprochement. Indira Gandhi approached him several times for reconciliation, and Morarji Desai firmly refused all those. And this was in contrast to Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who cut a deal with Indira Gandhi and Sanjay Gandhi to stay out of jail, and Charan Singh also, who tendered an apology to Indira Gandhi and came out of jail in March 1976. The problem was that Morarji Desai was disliked by almost everybody. All the other politicians absolutely disliked Morarji Desai because of his arrogance, his overweening ambition, his superiority complex, his know-it-all attitude, his obstinacy, his puritanical, moralistic sermonizing, and which is why the syndicate had worked to ensure Morarji's defeat after the deaths of both Jawaharlal Nehru in 1964 and Lal Bahadur Shastri in January 1966. The syndicate's motto was anyone but Morarji. And also, the hatred between Jagjeevan Ram and Moraji Desai dated back to around the early 1960s, when after the demise of Govind Vallabh Pant, the then Home Minister, Jagjeevan Ram and Moraji Desai had been involved in a bitter power struggle while in Nehru's cabinet to be declared as the number two to Jawaharlal Nehru. And at that time, Jagjeevan Ram had even asked Indira Gandhi for her support. But both Jagjeevan Ram and Moraji Desai were eased out under the Kamraj plan in 1963, and Lal Bahadur Shastri emerged as the winner in the Kamraj plan and went on to become the Prime Minister after Nehru. Also, there were strained relations between Moraji Desai and Jayaprakash Narayan since about the 1950s. More on Moraji's side than JP's side. Moraji Desai was 6 years older than Jayaprakash Narayan. Moraji was born in 1896, JP in 1902. Charan Singh also was born in 1902, same age as JP. And Jagjeevan Ram was 6 years younger, born in 1908. So Moraji Desai resented the moral authority and the saintly aura around JP, who was 6 years his junior. And Moraji Desai had always considered himself the rightful successor to Jawaharlal Nehru, and Moraji Desai greatly resented the fact that Jawaharlal Nehru wanted JP, Jayaprakash Narayan, to succeed him as the Prime Minister. There were also different styles of functioning. Moraji Desai was very strictly disciplined and methodical, and he thought that JP was a destructive anarchist who vacillated all the time. And this was correct. I mean, Indira Gandhi had also dubbed JP as a theoretician of chaos, and even people who were close to JP never knew what he really wanted. JP was a very confused person. And this is the problem that my father, and JP and my father had known each other from 1959, when my father was the chief editor of Yojana, the editor of the Planning Commission, and JP would write to him after each issue of Yojana, giving him detailed feedback of the articles which had appeared in Yojana. But still, nobody knew where JP stood on any particular issue, and he was a very confused person who vacillated all the time. Unlike Moraji Desai, who was disciplined, goal-oriented, who knew exactly what he wanted. And of all people, it was Subramanian Swamy, who in 1974, 1975, Subramanian Swamy persuaded Moraji Desai and JP to set aside their personal dislikes for each other for the higher cause of defeating Indira Gandhi. Chandrasekhar also was very, very close to JP. In fact, JP considered Chandrasekhar to be his political heir, and Chandrasekhar too detested Moraji Desai. So Babu Jagjeevan Ram very shrewdly played upon Chandrasekhar's dislike of Moraji Desai, and Jagjeevan Ram persuaded Chandrasekhar to withdraw from the contest and instead support Babu Jagjeevan Ram. So the Sarvodaya quartet, led by my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna, they also determined that Nanaji Deshmukh of the RSS should be the deputy prime minister. So Nanaji Deshmukh of the RSS, he was widely respected. He had been second only to JP in leading the opposition to Indira Gandhi since 1974. It was Nanaji who persuaded the numerous factions, the socialists, the Congress O, the Lokdal, the Janasangh, all of them to unite together to form the Janata Coalition. And Nanaji Deshmukh had a high moral stature because of his decades of selfless social work, and he also had a very modern technocratic outlook. Nanaji Deshmukh was a graduate of BITS Pilani, the Birla Institute of Science and Technology at Pilani. And most importantly, Nanaji Deshmukh was a unifying and conciliatory figure, and so he would be ideal to offset the drawbacks of the haughty, arrogant, rigid Moraji Desai. The CFD, they were the Congress for Democracy of Jagjeevan Ram. They were confident that they had the support of at least 165 MPs out of 345, the 102 of the Janasangh faction, 35 socialists, and 28 of their own parties. So Jagjeevan Ram and Hemwati Nandan Bahuguna pressed for an open election to decide who would be the Prime Minister. So my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna and his three fellow Sarvodaya Gandhians, they persuaded Jagjeevan Ram and Hemwati Nandan Bahuguna that an open election would be divisive for the newly formed Janata coalition, and they reminded Jagjeevan Ram and H.N. Bahuguna that the Congress party elections of January 1966, in which Indira Gandhi had defeated Morarji Desai by 355 votes to 169 votes for the prime ministership, that this Congress party election had set into motion the rifts and the fissures which led to the Congress party splitting in 1969. So, my mama K.S. Radhakrishna, and together with the fellow Sarvodaya associates of Mahatma Gandhi, that's Narayan Bhai Desai, Siddharaj Dada, and Govindrao Deshpande, they impressed upon Jayaprakash Narayan to rise above his personal differences with Morarji Desai and to endorse Morarji for the prime ministership. And a very magnanimous, large-hearted JP readily agreed, because he too felt that Morarji Desai was the best qualified and the most deserving candidate, even though everyone disliked Morarji Desai. Time was running out, because under the constitution and what acting President B.D. Jatti had said, the new government had to be in place by the evening of 24th March 1977. So the previous day, on the evening of 23rd March 1977, my mama, maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna, he carried out a fait accompli by announcing to the press that Acharya J.B. Kripalani, Jeevatram Bhagwat Das Kripalani, and J.P. would announce the names of the Prime Minister and the composition of the cabinet at noon the next day at his Rouse Avenue residence of the Gandhi Peace Foundation. So each of the 345 newly elected MPs would give a note to Acharya J.B. Kripalani and to J.P. indicating whom they supported for the prime ministership, as well as for the other cabinet portfolios. There would be no open election, and the final decision would be that of J.P. and Acharya J.B. Kripalani alone. So, my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna and the fellow Sarvodaya associates of Mahatma Gandhi, Narayan Bhai Desai, Siddharaj Dada, and Govindrao Deshpande, so they worked throughout the night to ensure a unanimous consensus in favor of Morarji Desai. And the four of them had excellent credibility because, they're very high moral stature, and they were above the lures of political office. They were not in active politics. No matter whom they made the prime minister, they were not going to benefit in any way from whom they made the prime minister. And so everyone knew that they were doing that in the interests of the nation and of the Janata coalition as a whole. And all the Janata Party MPs knew that both JP and Acharya JB Kripalani would totally go by the advice of Radhakrishna and Narayan Bhai Desai, Siddharaj Dada, and Govindrao Deshpande. So the four of them, the Sarvodaya quartet, they informed all the Janata MPs that JP strongly favored Morarji Desai, and they heavily emphasized that Jagjeevan Ram had held a comfortable cabinet post all through the emergency, while the rest of them had struggled in jail in very harsh conditions. And then the corruption of Jagjeevan Ram was heavily underlined. He had not paid his income taxes for many years, and when he was confronted with that, he said, "Oh, I'm just too busy to pay my income taxes." And most important, it was Jagjeevan Ram who had sponsored, moved all the emergency resolutions in Parliament. All the legislations related to the emergency were moved by Jagjeevan Ram. The problem was that JP had praised Jagjeevan Ram on numerous occasions as an able administrator, even in the months before the emergency. And in fact, Indira Gandhi had never trusted Jagjeevan Ram because she knew that at the slightest chance he got, Jagjeevan Ram would overthrow her and become the Prime Minister himself. And so JP's lavish praise for Jagjeevan Ram's administrative acumen made Indira Gandhi more and more suspicious of Jagjeevan Ram. And that was one of the reasons why Indira Gandhi did not step down as Prime Minister after the Allahabad High Court declared her election invalid, because she knew that if she steps down and Jagjeevan Ram takes over, she would never come back as Prime Minister. So, because of JP's past record of praising Jagjeevan Ram numerous times as an able administrator, the Janata Party MPs just took it for granted that JP's preferred choice was Jagjeevan Ram, and JP had never praised Morarji Desai or Charan Singh in the same way. Charan Singh was provoked into making a statement that if Jagjeevan Ram was elected as the Prime Minister, then he, Charan Singh, and all his supporters would immediately walk out of the Janata coalition. And because of all this tension, Charan Singh developed chest pains and he had to be rushed to the Wellington Hospital. It's now Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. So during those few hours when Charan Singh was in hospital, he was totally outmaneuvered by the Sarvodaya quartet, and they emphasized to all the remaining Janata MPs that Charan Singh had been released from prison as early as March 1976 after he tendered an abject, cringing apology to Indira Gandhi. So, K.S. Radhakrishna, Narayan Bhai Desai, Siddharaj Dada, and Govindrao Deshpande. So, first they tried to persuade Chandrasekhar to drop his support for Jagjeevan Ram and instead support Morarji Desai. But Chandrasekhar, who absolutely detested Morarji Desai, flatly refused to do so. So then the four Sarvodaya Gandhians met Lal Krishna Advani, and L.K. Advani told the four of them that the Janasangh group was supporting Jagjeevan Ram only because they were under the impression that Jagjeevan Ram was the choice of JP. So the Sarvodaya quartet informed L.K. Advani that on the contrary, the large-hearted, magnanimous JP was supporting Morarji Desai, even though he very well knew how much Morarji Desai detested him. So the four of them offered 3 senior cabinet posts to the Janasangh faction, including the deputy prime ministership for Nanaji Deshmukh. Then the four of them went and met Nanaji Deshmukh, and Nanaji Deshmukh also told them that the RSS, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, was supporting Jagjeevan Ram only because they were under the impression that Jagjeevan Ram was the choice of JP. And then the four of them informed Nanaji Deshmukh that JP had risen above his differences of Morarji Desai. JP was very well aware how much Morarji Desai disliked him. And JP was endorsing Morarji Desai as the best choice. And then these four of them, they offered Nanaji Deshmukh the deputy prime ministership and 2 other senior cabinet posts to the Janasangh faction. Then the four of them, the four Sarvodaya Gandhians, met Biju Patnaik, and Biju Patnaik told them outright that if Jagjeevan Ram is made the Prime Minister, then both Biju and Charan Singh would immediately walk out of the Janata coalition. Then the four of them, the Sarvodaya Gandhians, they met Atal Bihari Vajpayee of the Bharatiya Janasangh, and Vajpayee was very well aware of how much the puritanical Morarji Desai detested him because of his libertine lifestyle. And he drew a hard bargain. I mean, Vajpayee drank alcohol and had lady friends, and that absolutely appalled Morarji Desai. So Vajpayee emphasized that out of the 102 Janasangh MPs, 91 of the 102 belonged to his camp, and they were firmly under his control. And so Vajpayee said, I myself have a very strong claim to be the Prime Minister because I have 91 MPs, or at least the Deputy Prime Minister instead of Nanaji Deshmukh. So then the four Sarvodaya Gandhians, led by my Mama K.S. Radhakrishna, they let me put it in inverted commas, blackmailed Atal Bihari Vajpayee that his ignominious role during the emergency would go against him. So, Atal Bihari Vajpayee had been in poor health during the emergency. He had been in and out of hospital, and he had numerous surgeries. And he had spent most of the emergency under parole in his residence after he gave an undertaking to Indira Gandhi as early as September 1975, just 3 months after the 2.5 months after the emergency was declared, that he would not oppose the emergency. And Vajpayee had even indicated to Indira Gandhi that he was prepared to sever his links with the RSS if that would keep him out of jail. And most significantly, in the last week of December 1976, Vajpayee on his own initiative, went and visited Om Mehta, the notorious Om Mehta, who was the Minister of State for Home and the right-hand man of Sanjay Gandhi. And Om Mehta was responsible for several of the excesses of the emergency. Now, when Vajpayee returned from this meeting that he had with Om Mehta, Vajpayee ordered all the student activists of the ABVP, the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. The ABVP was the student wing of the RSS. So Vajpayee ordered the ABVP to tender an unconditional apology to Indira Gandhi. And the ABVP students flatly refused to apologize to Indira Gandhi, saying that we will rather remain in jail than apologize to Indira Gandhi. There is also some evidence that Vajpayee was prepared to reveal the whereabouts of the RSS and the Janasangh activists who were still in hiding and opposing the emergency. And Madhav Rao Mule of the RSS and Subramaniam Swamy, also who was in hiding, have confirmed this. And Vajpayee offered to reveal their whereabouts and get them arrested by Sanjay Gandhi and Indira Gandhi. So the Sarvodaya quartet, led by my uncle, they threatened Atal Bihari Vajpayee that if he did not support Morarji Desai, then they would make all this information public. But even after they left this meeting, after threatening Vajpayee that if he did not support Morarji Desai, they would make it public about his role and the deals that he had cut with Indira Gandhi and with Om Mehta. But even then, they were not certain of what Vajpayee really would do. So, at noon on 24th March 1977, the newly elected MPs began to assemble at the Rouse Avenue residence. It's now as Deen Dayal Upadhyay Marg residence of my my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna, to convey their choices to JP and to Acharya JB Kripalani. And then JP sprung a sudden shock. JP asked Subramaniam Swamy to come and sit together with him and Acharya JB Kripalani while they ascertained the views of each MP. And actually, it was Subramaniam Swamy who in 1974 had persuaded JP and Morarji Desai to set aside their mutual antipathy and work together for the larger cause of dethroning Indira Gandhi. And in fact, after the negotiations between JP and Indira Gandhi had broken down in 1974, JP had actually asked Subramaniam Swamy to introduce him to Nanaji Deshmukh of the RSS. And JP had then declared that if anything happened to him, then Nanaji Deshmukh would take over the leadership of his Sampurna Kranti Andolan. And Nanaji Deshmukh in turn declared that if anything happened to him, then Sundar Singh Bhandari of the RSS would take over the leadership of the Sampurna Kranti Andolan. So Indira Gandhi had an absolute visceral hatred of the RSS, which was antithetical to her ideals for India as a nation. The RSS was against everything that Nehru and Indira Gandhi stood for. And once JP got the RSS involved in his Sampurna Kranti Andolan, the battle lines between Indira Gandhi and JP were drawn. And one of Indira Gandhi's major aims in declaring the emergency was to destroy the RSS totally. To return back to what happened at my uncle's residence, so there was still no certainty that Morarji Desai would be named in preference to Jagjeevan Ram and Charan Singh. And the Sarvodaya quartet knew that they could not depend on Atal Bihari Vajpayee and his 91 MPs to support Morarji Desai. And they were also very puzzled by JP asking Subramanian Swamy to come and sit together with him and Acharya JB Kripalani. So that is when the four Sarvodaya Gandhians, led by my uncle, they decided to pull out their Brahmastra, their massive weapon. They enlisted the wily manipulators Chandrabhanu Gupta and Raj Narayan to work on Chaudhary Charan Singh, who had been admitted to Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital with chest pains. So Chandrabhanu Gupta, he had been Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh on numerous occasions, and Raj Narayan rushed to the Wellington Hospital. And they told Charan Singh that his enemy, Jagjeevan Ram, was minutes away from being selected as the Prime Minister. And then these two, Chandrabhanu Gupta and Raj Narayan, they told Charan Singh that the Deputy Prime Minister would be his nemesis, Hemwati Nandan Bahuguna. So this was a ruse. This was not true. It was a ruse. It was a trick. There was no way Hemwati Nandan Bahuguna could become the Deputy Prime Minister, because both the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister could not come from the same small party, the CFT, which had only 28 seats out of the 345 in the coalition. And Charan Singh had hated H.N. Bahuguna, who was his arch enemy in Uttar Pradesh politics for decades. So Charan Singh detested Hemwati Nandan Bahuguna even more than he detested Jagjeevan Ram. So Chandrabhanu Gupta and Raj Narayan told Charan Singh that he had only a few minutes left to prevent the anointing of Jagjeevan Ram and H.N. Bahuguna, and that he could do so only by himself withdrawing from the contest and supporting Morarji Desai instead. So what Chandrabhanu Gupta and Raj Narayan did is that they drafted a letter purporting to be from Charan Singh and got him to sign it. So this letter addressed to JP said that Charan Singh would prefer to go back to being jailed by Indira Gandhi in her prisons rather than work under Jagjeevan Ram and H.N. Bahuguna. And so Charan Singh was withdrawing from the contest and transferring his support to Morarji Desai. For good measure, Chandrabhanu Gupta and Raj Narayan added several paragraphs highly praising Morarji Desai and castigating Jagjeevan Ram for being a cabinet minister during the emergency. And these two forced Charan Singh to append his signature on this letter. Interestingly, 2 years later in 1979, when Charan Singh rebelled against Morarji Desai so that he could himself become the Prime Minister in July 1979 with the help of Sanjay Gandhi. So this letter was pulled out. This letter was pulled out to show that Charan Singh was a backstabbing turncoat, which he was. So Chandrabhanu Gupta and Raj Narayan rushed from Lohia Hospital, Wellington Hospital it was then, back to the residence of my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna. And they interrupted the MPs who were filing past JP and Acharya JB Kripalani. And Chandrabhanu Gupta dramatically read out the letters which had been signed by Charan Singh, transferring his support to Morarji Desai. And Subramaniam Swamy later recounted. So Subramaniam Swamy said, I was there with JP when Vajpayee came running, panting for breath, and expressed his support to Morarji. So Jaiprakash Narayan turned towards me, that is, towards Subramanian Swamy, and winked his gleaming eyes and smiled. Poor Jagjeevan Ram was not aware of these developments. So this is what Subramaniam Swamy recounted several years later. So, without waiting for the all the MPs to finish conveying their preferences to JP and to Acharya JB Kripalani, Chandrabhanu Gupta rushed outside, and there were all hundreds of journalists outside, so who were anxiously waiting outside for the decision. So Chandrabhanu Gupta announced to the huge press corps that was waiting outside that JP and Acharya JB Kripalani had unanimously decided on Morarji Desai and with Jagjeevan Ram and Charan Singh to hold the heavyweight portfolios of defense and home affairs. So Jagjeevan Ram and H.N. Bahuguna realized that they had been tricked and outwitted, and so Jagjeevan Ram, H.N. Bahuguna, George Fernandez, Ramdhan, and all they threw a massive tantrum over their being outwitted, and in front of the hundreds of journalists, they told all the journalists that this was a total murder of democracy, as bad as anything that Indira Gandhi had done. So JP had a quick consultation with Chandrasekhar, and in fact he wrote out a note apologizing to Jagjeevan Ram and to Hemati Nandan Bahuguna, and JP persuaded these two that in the interest of the nation and in the interest of the Janata coalition, these two, Jagjeevan Ram and Hemati Nandan Bahuguna, should join Morarji Desai's cabinet. And then also to rein in Morarji Desai, JP announced that Chandrasekhar had been in jail throughout the emergency, even though he was a Congress MP and, in fact, the leader of the Young Turks faction in the Congress party. So, JP announced that Chandrasekhar would not be in the cabinet but would instead be the president of the Janata Party. So, Chandrabhanu Gupta, Nanaji Deshmukh, and George Fernandez immediately endorsed Chandrasekhar to be the Janata Party president. And Chandrasekhar was very, very close to JP. In fact, JP regarded Chandrasekhar as his political heir. And Morarji Desai and Chandrasekhar had detested each other. And then Chandrasekhar also hated the RSS. He was a very staunch socialist. Then I remember very well, even though I was quite young at that time, that N.K. Seshan, who was the private secretary to Indira Gandhi and our next door neighbor, and N.K. Seshan was the person who knew everything that was going on in the country. So N.K. Seshan had remarked to my father H.Y. Sharada Prasad that choosing Chandrasekhar to head the Janata Party was an excellent decision. And my surmise is that JP, who had found himself entangled in the tentacles, in the clutches of the RSS, the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. In fact, in an earlier video interview, I had explained how and why JP got involved with the RSS, and that JP is getting involved with the RSS was a major trigger for Indira Gandhi to declare the emergency. So my conjecture is that JP chose Chandrasekhar as the Janata Party president to curb the power that the RSS had over the Janata government, and Chandrasekhar absolutely detested the RSS. Nanaji Deshmukh was instrumental in bringing the various parties together, from the socialists to the Lokdal to the Congress O to the RSS and the Janasangh MPs. He brought them all together, and he was second only to JP in leading the opposition to Indira Gandhi. So Nanaji Deshmukh did something very, very noble. He declined the offer to become the deputy prime minister and the industry minister, and instead, at the time of his greatest triumph, Nanaji Deshmukh, who could have been the deputy prime minister, he retired from public life, and he even though he remained an MP for that one term, and he went to concentrate on social work in a remote village in Chitrakoot. Subramanian Swamy was supremely confident that he would be made the finance minister because of his closeness to both JP and Moraji Desai and his Harvard doctorate in economics, where he had worked with Nobel laureates. But Subramaniam Swamy, very bitter enemy in the Janasangh, that's Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So Atal Bihari Vajpayee became the foreign minister, and he saw to it that Subramaniam Swamy did not get any ministerial berth at all, not even a lowly minister of state post. Instead, the experienced financial administrator Moraji Desai, he'd been finance minister for so many years. Moraji Desai picked H.M. Patel, who was a retired ICS officer, and he was the right-hand man of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Hirubai Muljibai Patel. He was a former Home Secretary and Defense Secretary. So Moraji Desai picked H.M. Patel to be the finance minister. Under Moraji Desai, the Janata government lasted for 2 years. If under either Jagjeevan Ram or Charan Singh, it would not have lasted even 2 weeks. So, after JP had helped them form the government, then most of the Janata Party leaders started ignoring JP. They paid lip service to JP, but hardly any of them met JP during his long illness after that. And it was only Chandrasekhar and Jagjeevan Ram and JP's old enemy Indira Gandhi who called on JP during his very tragic last months. In fact, Indira Gandhi made numerous visits to JP during his long illness, both in hospital as well as to his residence in Patna. After we recorded this video interview yesterday, numerous people asked me for more details about Atal Bihari Vajpayee's role, which I had referred to yesterday. We had shot this interview yesterday, but the audio quality turned out to be very, very poor. And because of the poor audio quality, we are re-recording this interview. So it has always been a surprise to me as to how Atal Bihari Vajpayee resurrected his political career in March 1977 to become the foreign minister, and 2 decades later he became the prime minister and was prime minister for 6 years. So during the emergency, Vajpayee, who was in ill health, he had spent most of the emergency under parole in his residence after giving an undertaking to Indira Gandhi as early as September 1975 that he would not oppose the emergency. And Vajpayee had even indicated to Indira Gandhi that he was prepared to sever his links with the RSS if that would keep him out of jail. And in the last week of December 1976, Vajpayee had visited the notorious Om Mehta. Om Mehta was the Minister of State for Home and the right-hand man of Sanjay Gandhi, and Om Mehta was responsible for many of the excesses of the emergency. So Vajpayee, on his own initiative, went and met Om Mehta. It was not as if Om Mehta had invited Vajpayee to come and meet him. So on his return from the meeting with Om Mehta, we don't know what really happened there. Nobody knows what really happened in this meeting. But as soon as Vajpayee returned from this meeting with Om Mehta, Vajpayee ordered the student activists of the ABVP, the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, which is the student wing of the RSS. So Vajpayee ordered the ABVP students to tender an unconditional apology to Indira Gandhi, and the ABVP students flatly refused to apologize to Indira Gandhi, saying that they would rather remain in jail than apologize to her. And then, as I said yesterday again, was some evidence that Vajpayee was prepared to reveal the whereabouts of those RSS and Janasangh activists who were still in hiding and were opposing the emergency. So Vajpayee was prepared to get them arrested by Sanjay Gandhi and by Indira Gandhi. But the most surprising thing was that, in spite of all this, 91 of the 102 Jansangh MPs were firmly under Vajpayee's control. And whereas the numerous other RSS and Jansangh activists who had been jailed in harsh conditions, who had been harassed during the emergency, they were all sidelined. So, and in spite of his leading role in opposing Indira Gandhi during the emergency and his close association with both Jaiprakash Narayan and Morarji Desai, Subramanyam Swamy found himself totally castrated by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. It was a complete castration that Atal Bihari Vajpayee carried out of Subramanyam Swamy, from which he never really recovered. And the only time Subramanyam Swamy could ever become a minister was during the short-lived government of Chandrasekhar in 1991. And even then, Subramanyam Swamy did not get the finance portfolio which he coveted. It went to Yashwant Sinha. Okay, is that done? Yeah. Okay, please follow my Twitter account at RVP, and please subscribe to my channels on YouTube and IGTV, and please follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and especially my Twitter account at RVP. This is Ravi Vishweshwaraya Sharada Prasad saying goodbye. Have a great day. Okay, see you. Okay.